Acting coach. It's Nisha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go. It's Nisha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go. Connect and feel the vibe. Connections make you feel alive. We do this every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's all love, we here to stay. Trust in God, He'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Connect and vibe, 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 connect and vibe. It's Nisha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this segment of Nisha's Network, Insightful Moments with Nisha. And I am so excited to have a wonderful, superb, stupendous guest with me today. None other than, don't be shy, Mr. Ben Rudolph. Hi, Ben. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to say that we are, in some kind of way, colleagues for
Yeah,
hope. Colleagues for
absolutely.
hope. And I just want to share with you guys a little bit. As many of you all know, HLM Recovery, which is a branch of Heart Life Ministries, launched a recovery program and in 2020, and it has been a journey. And it has been one where we are definitely coming and have become more of an advocate for people with lived experience, all things recovery. And there are so many dynamics we can go into, but Ben happens to be our tech support technician, and he works with Chestnut Health Systems, and he is definitely an advocate. And I want to say also, Ben, that you are definitely an inspiration to Heart Life Ministries and our recovery program. But I want you to just introduce yourself a little bit to our guest, and then that way we can move on from there. Where you live, where you're from, a little bit of history about yourself.
Okay, well, there's quite a bit there. But my name is Ben Rudolph, and I am a technical assistant for Region 2 ROSC, Recovery Oriented Systems of Care, which is a system that is supposed to branch out away from traditional ways of recovery and like the traditional rehabs in giving a more casual and open look into the world of recovery and the possibilities of reinventing ourselves through jobs, job training, education, housing, etc., and so forth. So that there's many ways to recover. There's many pathways to recovery, and to discover those ways, I think, is the main thing that a ROSC program is trying to do. My own background, 20 years clean and sober. I'm a person with lived experience. Like I've said many times, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed or worried about people know about it. One of my jobs is to reduce stigma with everybody I meet. You don't know who you're dealing with until you get to know them. And I want people to know who I am and what I've been through, and to know that really the key word today, Nisha, for me is hope, that there is
Yeah.
hope out there.
Yes.
I was a hopeless person, and I wanted to die. And I didn't want to be in this world anymore. And I didn't feel that there was a place for me. And what happened basically is I found hope. I'm born and raised in Waukegan, Illinois. Lived there for 18 years. Went to school and studied to be a musician, and moved to Chicago. Lived in Chicago for about 25 years, where I worked. Probably the most famous place I worked is a jazz club called the Green Mill up on the north side of Chicago. Played there for 10 years, and various other places. Had a wonderful time being a musician. Didn't make a whole lot of money. I'm not famous or anything. All I really wanted to do was learn how to play well and sing as well as I could, and did all kinds of work in nightclubs, restaurants, studio work, and etc. What happened was that I was overcome by an addiction. Um, There are a lot of reasons why a person becomes addicted, and I won't go into all of those reasons now. But there's something going on in your life, and do you feel like there is pain happening? There is some sort of outlet you need, some sort of experience you want to have, something that you're feeling not a part of the world. And so I assuaged the pain of my existence by drinking, by using drugs. Heck, Nisha, I was working in nightclubs. Everybody wanted to buy the piano player a beer or a cognac,
Yes, yes. So basically, it started with the lifestyle of just social. But I want to you skipped over it, kind of, sort of, and I want to just go back a little bit, and I want to just ask you. You said that a lot of things were going on in your life that played a part to, your sadness, your unhappiness.
Sure.
Now you think you're playing the piano for other people, you're bringing joy to everybody else, but there's something inside of you that hasn't really made you fulfilled. So tell us a little bit about what maybe just one of the things that you realized was something you needed, healing from or hope from that may have, caused you to, choose a life of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, well, there's a kind of an emptiness, a sadness that was going on inside of me. I wasn't feeling like I was a part of the world. There were things that happened when I was a kid, family things,
Hmm.
personal things.
Hmm.
It wasn't just in my family. I grew up in, oh, I don't know, a mixed neighborhood, a neighborhood that had some poor folks in it. I thought I was poor until I met poor people, but uh, but the neighborhood was a working class neighborhood, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of things going on in the schools. You feel like you're being left out or marginalized in some way. Like I said, there were things going on in the house, in the home that weren't 100% for me, and I needed something and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I leaned on drugs and alcohol, and whew, man, that feeling of being intoxicated, of feeling high, of feeling separate from the world, it really appealed to me. Um, Nisha, what I really
Were
found
you
out,
married? Were you married at the time, Ben?
yes, yes, I was. And, there was in the beginning much shame and embarrassment with my wife of trying to make up for that, of trying to reconnect, of trying to um, make some sort of amends with her.
Hmm.
I know that she went through a lot of stuff and she stood by me.
Mm,
She supported me. And, I don't know that I can ever repay that, quite frankly. If you had asked me, I'd have thought, man, she would have got rid of me a long time ago. I
yeah,
was causing too much problems. And, we had a child and I was intoxicated. And she would say, I don't know when I come home, what I'm going to come home to.
yeah,
So, anyway, I got to a kind of a point. You come to a crossroads when you're messing around in this way. And do you want to be that intoxicated person for the rest of your life, hanging out in a doorway, whatever, living this nightlife? There's a blues song that I used to love called Nightlife Ain't No Life, but It's My Life. And
wow, wow.
and it's hard to live that life. I felt like Count Dracula. I was opposite the world.
That
Uh,
is so surprising because your personality, us knowing you, I could never even think that.
And that's the blessing of recovery.
Yes.
And Anisha, you had just mentioned something that's so important. It makes me feel so happy to hear when people say, I can't imagine you being that guy. And I wish I had a film because I was unhappy. I was mean. I was cruel to people.
Really?
I'm not bragging about that. That's a kind of, oh my God, what kind of person was that? I was living like an animal. And, after a while, music is no fun. Living is no fun. Breathing is no fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So what age did you actually, you were married, of course. So what age? And I think about that because, a lot of people start so young, but to
Yes.
reach a point in your life where
Yes.
do you feel like you had found happiness when you got married and you had a daughter?
Yeah.
And then it just, spiraled. The things caught up with you. I guess that's what.
Well, there you go. I had my first drink and drug on the same night when I was 14 years old. I was a baby. I had no idea about the world. I was a lonely kid and I wanted to belong with something and somebody. And I went to a little kid party, and the little kid party had grown up things in it.
Mm.
And boy, when I took that first drink and that first drug, it was meaningful to me. And I belonged to a group, and
Wow.
people were like, I wasn't Ben or Benjamin. People called me Benny. You know, I had an I right? I had an
Dennis.
identification with something. I had a nickname. I belonged to group. I was cool, man. Right on. What's happening? You know, you
Yeah.
do the little handshakes and the little hugs in the hallway, and you belong to a group, and that felt good. That felt wonderful for somebody who felt all alone and that nobody understood, to have a group of people say, I understand you. You
Yeah.
know, you're part of our group.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand what I was getting involved in. I was 14. I was
Yeah.
a child. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I had to journey for about 30 years. I was 44 when I found recovery.
Wow.
Um, And the thing was, is I had to decide, are you want to go on this thing and go to the bitter end, or do you want to try and do something different?
Yeah. You
Nisha, yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, this is where my life changed. And I know I could share this with you because
Yes,
you're
absolutely.
you're a spiritual person. You understand that when you come to a crossroads and then you find a way to put God in your life.
Yes.
And I didn't believe in God, and God forgive me. He knows all the things I said, that he was a farce, that it was dumb. I didn't believe in a spiritual life. I just thought we lived and then we died. And a person suggested to me in a 12-step group that I try a prayer. And I said, well, that's not going to work. None of that stuff ever works for me. And he just says, well, just try. That's all. I'm not saying that, the skies are going to open up and God's going to scoop you up to heaven or whatever. Just try one, see what happens. And so in the dark of night, nobody knows nothing. I don't have to admit to anybody anything. And I can say this: God, please help me. I'm not a praying type of person. I don't really believe in God, but if you're out there, please help.
Ooh,
And something happened. And
something happened. Touch me.
I can't use words to describe what that is, but something happened because in that prayer, Nisha, I asked God to take me out of this world. I'm
Mm.
hurting everybody that I'm in contact with. I'm harming them. Please, I don't wish to harm anybody anymore. So if it's your will and you're there, God, please take me out of this world. And a remarkable thing happened, Nisha. Something in my mind spoke to me, and it said to me, because I was laying on the floor of an apartment. I had been abandoned by my wife and my child. I was all alone in Chicago. And I said, just kill me. And a voice spoke to me in my mind or in my heart, I don't know, but it said, Ben, get up off the floor. Today is not your day to die.
Wow.
And I got up and I
Wow.
started making actions to finally live again and to finally do what I could to discover who I was and what I was here for.
Wow.
And it hasn't been a smooth road. It's been a bumpy road. I have failed and failed and failed, but I've stayed clean and sober. And I've moved through this world and have found a place. And I give God all credit for that. I truly do. And
Wow.
don't ask me, to ever stop my prayer life. Don't ever ask me to stop my spiritual life because
Yeah.
I ain't going to do it.
I'm not
Not
gonna
gonna,
do it. I'm not
I
gonna
ain't
do
gonna do
it.
it. I ain't gonna
What
do it.
a remarkable story of hope. And you know what I love about it, Ben? I love when the love of God meets you with no coaching. What
Yeah.
I mean by that is you weren't at a church, you weren't surrounded by tons of people. You were surrounded by making sure nobody else heard you pray this prayer.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And you said, I'm if you're out there, I'm gonna give you a try and ask for hope
Yeah.
and for help. And to me, those are the most real confirming stories that the love of God is so real and that he shows up for you and rescues you in your time of trouble.
Yes. And I can't tell you the overwhelming feeling of calm. And Nisha, my life was a wreck. I mean, it was a train wreck. So what am I doing feeling calm and okay about everything?
Yeah.
But it was just that wonderful feeling of calmness. Today's not your day to pass away. So get up, you know, wash your face, shave your face, put some clothes on, take a walk outside and figure out what's going to happen next because
Yeah.
something has to happen and you have to do it. So, I mean, that's when I made those phone calls to the 12-step program, AA, and they told me, come on over.
Wow. And
And
restoration not only happened for you, but for your family as well.
well, and that was a long process and a process that continues. It's constant, consistent, and ongoing. So
Mhm.
my amends to my family isn't something that I just did and then it's over with. It's
Right.
something that I participate in every day.
Okay.
So what can I do for you, my family?
Mhm.
All right. Can I wash the dishes? Can I mow the lawn? Can I fix a broken thing? Can I take a broken thing and break it more and finally put my pride down and actually call a tradesman who knows what they're doing? You
Mhm.
know, can I do those things? And as I have done those things for my family, my wife and my daughter, by being present, by sharing my experience. My wife told me, says, if you're going to be a part of this family, you're going to have to talk to your daughter about who you are and what you do and what happened to you. But she was a very little girl. She says, so don't do that now. She says, Ben, I will tell you when. And so I had to humble myself and said, yes, I will do that. I will do that. I want to be a part of this family. I want to be the husband. I want to be the father. I want to lead this family in whatever way I'm able to.
Mhm.
So when my daughter went to high school, my wife said, Ben, it's the time now. She's going to high school. She's meeting all kinds of people. This stuff is rolling around out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to sit down with my daughter and explain, your father was at one time an alcoholic and a drug addict and nearly walked away from his family. And this is what happened to me. And it's in your gene pool, dear. So you need to know that if you experiment, there might be something going on inside of you that you need to handle. And I want to be that resource for you. I
Yes.
want you to feel comfortable sitting with me and talking about what's going on, because I might be able to help you just by telling my story and saying how I've struggled. And
Yes.
so I'll tell you, I'm being honest too. My daughter was very angry and upset with me when I told her the truth.
Mhm.
And she said, I can't believe you would do that to mom. That was terrible. She wouldn't speak to me for a period of time. She was angry. But my God told me, hang on,
Yes.
sit with that. Don't say nothing. Let her do what she needs to do.
Yes.
Let her be angry with you. Let her holler at you. Let her do all of this stuff and then love her and
Mhm.
say, honey, I'm right here. I ain't going nowhere. If you need help, let me know. And so I got to have a relationship with a beautiful young woman who still surprises me. And I was sitting on the sofa yesterday. She's come to visit me because my birthday is coming up next week, and she's coming home to see her father. And we sit on the sofa, and Nisha, I can't believe it. I just go, oh my God, who's this beautiful young woman? Sitting on the sofa, telling me things. Oh my God.
Yes, yes. Well, that's so encouraging. If you guys are watching, we have a few moments left, but I'm here with the Mr. Ben Rudolph. I said the Mr. because he is such a kind man and such a story of hope and recovery, and that God's love is real and rescued him. And I love that unashamedly when you know that nobody else was around but God, and then you had to walk through the steps. Now there is a process, and so I want to make sure you all know that we are a part of the ROSC, the Recovery Oriented System of Care, which is a program for people who are walking through areas of life that need to overcome, and we are here as a resource, as the liaison, as the people to say, hey, you don't have to be alone. You can have help. And so, Ben, for the work that you do with Chestnut Health systems, we say thank you for the help you are to Heart Life Ministries, because he is our tech support. He is there for us, cheering us on, saying, hey, you all have this, and not so we could be recognized, because that's not what it's about. It's about us offering teenagers, children, parents, family members, areas of hope and of to recovery. Ben, do you have any few last words as we come to a close so you can encourage our viewers of how they can choose hope?
Well, I used to believe that I had to lead everything. I had to be in the front of everything. And as I have aged in my recovery, I understand that there are little things that people can do. One of the things that's a key word for me is kindness.
Mm.
And if you can practice kindness, not just to the people who you love and the people who love you, but have somebody who dislikes you,
Mm.
who's angry with you, who thinks ill of you, and
Yeah.
to still be kind. So I try to practice kindness and expand my idea of family to everybody I meet.
Mhm.
So everybody is my brother or my sister or my child or my niece or my nephew. For the period of time that I'm speaking with them, I need to put my best foot forward and let them know that, well, what's the amazing grace, huh? I
Yes,
was
amazing grace.
I was lost and now I'm found.
Yeah.
And I give God all credit, and that's all I got to say.
Wow.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Wow.
Thank you, God.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing today. Where can people reach out to you, Ben, if in case someone wanted to reach out to you?
I don't know. I'm not sure how where. I'm an older
Well,
person,
are
so
you are you on social media?
I am not. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
not
what
there.
about an
Yeah.
email address?
You can put that email address out there. You have it if you want to.
Okay,
That's
all right.
fine.
So
You know.
you all can contact me if you want to get in touch with
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to
Ben
talk
is
about.
available to speak and to share his story, to share his journey, and to offer hope for recovery
Absolutely.
all over the world. So thank you so much for today. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate this. You all follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on YouTube, NishasNetwork.com, Nisha Stringfellow. And you'll be able to share this. Share this with a family member. Share this with a friend. Share this with your church family. Share this with your college buddies or whoever, wherever circle you are, find yourself in. Offer people hope today. All right. Until
Right on.
next time, we'll see you then. Thank you so much again, Ben. Have a great day.
Thank you.